this was something that I still see it in my mind. So I'll explain. Oh my God. So it was at the house. It was about 30 people. And because the house had 2 bathrooms downstairs, 1 upstairs, and of course we were staying there, but not everybody was staying there. They brought buckets for people to purge in out onto the floor. And this night, the second night, there was a lot of newcomers. And at this point, I wasn't a newcomer or first timer. And again, set the ground rules, said, if you have any expectations for tonight, let them go. Your expectations won't serve you. Oh my goodness. And so we started. Came up, I was the 3rd person to take the first dose. I did a full dose this time. Sat down. Within minutes, you could hear people just purging, and it was aggressive. The acoustics of the space we were so enclosed, just you could feel everything, you could hear everything, and the energy of this space was so thick that I started to get out of I couldn't get into the space. And I started, not everyone, but a lot of the far side of the room was just purging, yelling. It was very, very, very thick. And the best way that I can explain it was what felt and sounded like a war. And I had 2 of my people next to me. And the girl to my right was like a lot of like that. The guy next to me was just having a very hard time as well, because I think we were all picking up the energy of the far side of the room. So about an hour in, I go to the facilitator and I said, I'm having a really hard time. I need help. And that was the one thing that I was like, I'm going to ask for help right away. And so I asked for help, and I was like, I'm picking up everyone else's stuff. I can feel their energy. It's sitting on me. I'm holding it. I can't tap in. She goes, you're going to take more medicine. And she poured something in my hands that was like a cleansing, aura cleansing. She goes, take it, pat it, take it all around you, protect your aura. She goes, Soha, their experience is not your experience. Don't let it affect you. And I knew that, but I needed someone to tell me that, right? So I take my second dose, I sit down, and the room feels like it's going out of control. Everybody, the sounds, the vomit, the yelling, and the facilitators really tried to control the space. They started singing. They started to go to people to individually try to help them. And at that point, I was told, just pray. Just pray, just pray. And so I tried to keep my eyes closed, and I started to pray, and I started to pray for humanity. I started to pray for the people in the room to get the healing they needed to heal. And I started to pray for myself. I started to pray for my family. I started to pray for my parents, my sister, my everybody, my friends. I started to pray for the earth. I started to focus on my intention, and that intention was to trust, to be in it. And I started, as I was doing that, I started to get really sick. And so I ran to the bathroom and I purged. I got back up once I found my bearings. I sat down and I felt a lot better. Sat in my space, and my whole body got so heavy. Like, I sunk into my chair. I was sitting with my hands interlaced like this. And I remember trying to pull my hands apart, and I couldn't. I was so heavy. But in a good way. I was like so grounded. I was like so in it. And I remember this like feeling of euphoria kind of just like washing over me. It was like I was so peaceful. I could still hear, and that was the hard part. I could still hear like World War III around me. But I was so peaceful. And I slowly kind of came out of it. I opened my eyes. They offered people to come up to get what was their second dose. I had already taken mine. Oh, that door. Anyways, I started to... I need to fix this. 1 second. It's driving me crazy. Okay, we're back. So I started to open my eyes to kind of just see, and again, this is like my mistake. I don't need to like see what other people are doing or what they're experiencing like, but because we were in such close quarters, I could feel every time my neighbor, the girl next to me or the guy next to me got up. And so I opened my eyes to see kind of who was taking the second dose, and this guy got up. And he was like, the best way I can explain it was like, he was like Exorcist. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It was very scary. And the shaman went to give him his dose, and then he looked at him, poured half of it out, and then gave him the other half. And he like didn't move. He like took it and sat there, and he was like totally very, very scary and just weird energy, and you could feel it and I could see it. It was standing right in front of me, and I was like, so I'll close your eyes, you don't need to see it. And then he started like walking away, and he started to like yell and like be up, and we're told, do not touch anyone, do not speak. Like, it was very specific. And so the shaman went to him, and he was really being, whatever you guys believe in my experience, he was definitely, there was some sort of demon situation around him. So the shaman started to clear his energy, sat with him. And I closed my eyes again, and I just started to breathe, and I kept telling myself trust, and I kept praying, and I kept praying, and I kept praying. And then at one point I realized like, I thought to myself, I feel scared. Because it was such a different experience than the first night. And I was like, I don't need to be scared. Do not need to be scared. This medicine was literally created by God, and it is medicine to help heal people. So people are going through their own experience, like let them go through their own experience, and you just focus in on you. And so I did. And by morning, I don't know, I'm not doing the story justice, because I think that evening like felt like I still see the images in my mind. And it's not to be like scary. And I think that like because we did an enclosed space, there was a lot of people. Like, and this is why the diet is so important, because some people were just like the Mexicans that just came from like the local community that were like, oh, there's an ayahuasca ceremony tonight, I'm going to do it. But had been drinking the night before. They, do recreational drugs. They eat meat, they eat dairy, and they show up and they have so much, and the medicine is trying to cleanse, and they're like purging like crazy. So anyways, I got up a few times to go to the bathroom, not to purge, but just to pee. Also, I wanted to get out of the space a little bit, which is like not what you're supposed to do, but there was a few of us that kept kind of getting up and leaving the space because it was just too much. The energy was like so mind-blowing. They kept going around with Copel to try to clear the energy of the space. And by the time I went upstairs to the bathroom, which is kind of outdoors, and I remember looking and I'm like, God, it's still dark. And I kept teetering with the idea, like, do I do another dose, which would have been 3, which is I hadn't done before. But I started to feel like I was still like nauseated from the first dose, and I was like, I don't know if I should do it. Should I do it? I'm gonna regret it if I don't. Maybe I'll just do a half. By the time I decided that I was gonna do half, it was morning, and it was like we were transitioning, right? And the songs were getting louder and at that point softer, and the space started to kind of chill out, and it was too late, which I'm okay with. Like, it's okay that I didn't do 3 or 2.5. And so by morning we had sharing circle again. And the girl that kind of helps run the organization, she was the first person to share. I was the third. And she said, wow, last night was incredibly difficult. So I knew that it wasn't me, and I felt like so much better in that. But, everybody in the circle, the Americans that went, we all had the same experience, in essence of, wow, like, what happened tonight? The energy of the space was crazy. People's stories about what they experienced were just insane. For me, again, I didn't have any visions. I didn't have conversations. I, tried to tap in, like speak to my grandmother. I tried to get some clarity on specific points in my life. Didn't come. But when I shared, the thing that I shared was that, like, everything that I need to feel safe and secure and whatever is within me. And so I knew that, like, in order for me to feel grounded, in order for me to feel safe, it's not going to come from external stuff. It's literally within me. And I'm the only person that can take care of me. And so when I went to share, that's exactly what I said. And I had explained the idea that I felt like so grounded and I was so connected. And when I felt scared, I literally prayed. And I said to myself, you're fine. You're fine. And that fear passed. So we started at 10. It ended at 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. the next day. And do you sleep? I think people kind of doze off through the experience a little bit. I probably did once or twice, but you're sitting up, so it's not like you're sleeping for like 10 minutes at a time. That next day, the Americans, we kind of like sat and we just talked about like what the fuck happened last night. We went to dinner, just the Americans. We like had more conversations around the evening, more storytelling. And with ayahuasca, a lot can come up for people, a lot of darkness, a lot of light, a lot of clarity. One of the guys who had a really great first night felt nothing the second night. So every time is a different experience. And so today, that was Sunday, right? Yeah. So today is Monday, and so today was a day that we just, let me go back. So after we went to dinner, we came home, and it was about midnight, and I get into bed, and I pass out for 30 minutes, and then they wake me up saying, we're cleaning the house, and we're cleaning our energies. I was like, what? We're cleaning the aura of the house. We're cleaning the soul of the house, and we're clearing all of ours, which I don't think they've done before, for their ceremonies. So we had a mini ceremony again last night from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning. Not with ayahuasca, but it was energy clearing. It was energy healing. We sat around a fire, and the fire is sacred. And so we offer up copal, tobacco to the fire. And they came around and they cleared our energy, each one of us, with copal. Each time with beautiful feathers. As they brushed the copal into us, they brushed the negative energy into the fire. And this is anything that we're holding. It's not that I was being negative or so-and-so was being negative or so-and-so. It was that we're just cleansing our aura so that when we go to bed, we wake up fresh and that we're not walking through the house again with that essence. And so they did that. And then the 3 facilitators went and cleaned every part of the house, kind of like what you do with sage. They did it with copal, with a drum, with feathers, moving stuck energy, stale energy, bad spirit out of the house. Came back up, cleaned our aura again, and they asked us, while they're cleaning the house, to sit in silence around the fire and pray. And so I started to pray. Pray for humanity, pray for people, pray for my family, pray for myself, pray for my intentions to come to, fruition. Pray for everything. And so I sat and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and they came back up and they said, okay, stand up. They offered us all tobacco in our hands, and we were going to throw the tobacco in the fire. But before we do, we were going to pray individually, and then you throw your tobacco into the fire. So when it got to me, and everyone's prayer was different. It was beautiful. I'm not a praying type. I pray for general safety at times, but I don't pray. My grandmother and my grandfather prayed all the time. And it's not because I don't believe in prayer. I do. I just don't pray. So when it got to me, I was so emotional. I said, dear sacred fire, thank you for this opportunity to be here. I pray for humanity, to those that want to be healed to receive healing. I pray for my family. I pray for my sister. I pray for my nephew and my niece to always be guided, to always be healthy and happy. I pray for myself to trust. I pray for joy. I pray for love. I pray for happiness. I pray for our earth. I pray, and the prayer just went on and on and on, and I got so emotional praying. It was like my heart was bursting open into this fire. I prayed for the group that was with me that evening, for the weekend, for their healing, for their journeys. I prayed for the house. I prayed for the owners of the home to always be protected. And everyone went around the circle, did their prayer. We threw the tobacco in the fire, and that was it. Our energies were clean. The house was cleaned. Anything that we were holding on to that day, we literally put out into the fire. And so I went to sleep. I woke up. I slept 5 hours. Every day I probably slept like 4 hours total. So 5 hours last night. Woke up this morning. And today was just about me. It was about me. I got an Airbnb by the ocean. I was like, I'm going to jump in the ocean. I'm going to just chill. And I think, did I get everything that I wanted out of this experience? No. But I got what I was intended to get out of it. And that's what ayahuasca is about. And what I got out of it was that the only person that is going to keep me safe, the only person that's going to keep me grounded is me. The only person that is going to, bring me what I need is me. And I think it was overarching because my intention was clarity and joy and happiness, or love, clarity, joy, and love. But the lesson that I learned was really just to trust myself, to trust in me, that everything that I have, everything that I need is within me. And I still think I'm downloading, right? I'm still very much in process right now, and I wanted to hop on to just share, because I know that one day I will totally forget what I felt and what I experienced. And ayahuasca is not scary. It's going to show you. It's going to show you what you need to see. You have to be ready for it. You have to be open to it. Let go of the expectations of what people have said, because you don't know what people are coming in with. And so, my sister said, did you get what you needed to get out of it? Not in my ideal world, but I had the experience I was meant to have. Will I do it again? Yeah. Do I think sitting with ayahuasca and this medicine everyone should do? Yes. You have to be ready. Don't let anyone force you. Don't, none of that. Go in with an open mind and an open soul, zero expectations. Everyone's experience is different. I would say that find an organization that you trust. Don't go with a random person that says he's a shaman or has done it a few times and can hold space for you. Do not do that. Yeah. And if you're ever curious or have questions, reach out. But I don't think speaking to a bunch of people and getting their stories on it is helpful. I think I asked and I knew too much going into it, which was part of the reason why I think I got really upset the first night. I wanted to have this life-opening experience. I wanted so much clarity. I wanted to know, what to do with my business and what's next. Am I on the right path? Where should I live? Should I move? which those are all important things, but that's not what actually matters. The deepest lesson I learned, and that was that I have everything within me to keep me safe, to keep me grounded. Also, I learned just to pray. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. To be surrounded by people that believe in their mission to save, honestly, the world, to save nature, to think about how they show up in the world and not to buy single-use plastic, to not use straws. My life is forever changed. The connections that I made and the people that I made had spent the last 4 days with, incredible. Everyone has such a different story. Everyone was so open. I went by myself. I didn't know anyone. Not one person. And it was beautiful, and I would never exchange this experience for anything else. So, take a deep breath. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to anyone that has watched this. If this helped anyone, just seek clarity, seek guidance. I hope that you find it. And I pray that whatever healing that you need, you receive.